We delivered the largest tax cuts and regulatory cuts in the history of America. And likewise, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. There's never been an economy like that. We achieved energy independence, and we're soon going to have energy dominance for the first time in 78 years. We appointed over 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices, and look what they just gave us with colleges. You actually, if you get good marks, you could actually get in. You don't have to take second fiddle to somebody that didn't get good marks. And last year, those justices ruled on a thing called Roe v. Wade. They ended it, and nobody thought that was possible. And I have to tell you, from the Republican and conservative standpoint, you have to learn how to talk about pro-life. You have to learn how to talk about that decision because you don't know how to talk about it. Pro-lifers have a tremendous power now with that termination to negotiate. They had none. They didn't have any before that ruling. They had no power whatsoever. They could kill babies at any time they wanted, including after what we would call birth. They could kill babies. Now they have tremendous power to negotiate because they don't have Roe v. Wade. This moves the issue back to the states where all legal scholars felt it should be, out of the federal government and back to the states. That's a big deal. On both sides, they felt it should be. Now, like President Ronald Reagan before me, I support the 3 exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. And I will say that in terms of running, you have to go with your heart. You have to go with what you want. But the 3 exceptions to me are very important. And the 3 exceptions, I think, to a large portion of the people on this issue are very important. Very, very important. Remember, the Democrats are the radicals on this issue. And you have to remember that. The Democrats, we're not the radicals on this issue. The Democrats are the radicals because they're willing to kill babies in their 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th month and even after birth. Remember the governor of Virginia, that whack job who thought he was Michael Jackson, remember? They said, let's see you moonwalk, governor, and his wife saved him because he would have moonwalked and it wouldn't have been pretty. He was ready to do it. It would not have been good. But he said, yes, the baby's born, and then we sit down and we talk to the mother and we decide whether or not we essentially terminate the baby's life. This is a baby born. And they have that too, numerous states, that you can kill the baby after birth. So they're the extremists, not us. You have to fight that issue differently. A lot of Republicans, a lot of House members, they weren't able to talk about the issue. They didn't know how. They didn't say that they were the radicals, that they were the extremists. They're the extremists. They didn't say that it gave us tremendous power to negotiate. And we now have that tremendous power. They have to talk about it right. And it'll be your issue, not their issue. I fully rebuilt the U.S. military, created Space Force, and put the U.S. Space Command in Alabama, which Biden just moved the hell out of your state. But maybe that's not going to be the end of that story. We defeated ISIS and brought our troops back home. Yeah, we moved the whole thing into Alabama, and they just announced they're going to take it out of your state. So you'll remember that. And I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war. We got people out of wars. We defeated ISIS. We defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate. But all of that was only the beginning. Here's just some of the agenda that I will immediately implement when we become the 47th president of the United States. And it's we, not I. I will totally obliterate the deep state. It's a sick, bad group of people. I will say no to 87,000 IRS agents who want to take your money and destroy your lives. I will end the disaster known as Bidenomics, which shall henceforth be defined as inflation, submission, and failure. We will turn around our economy very, very quickly. I will cancel every Biden regulation that's harming Alabama workers and workers all over the United States. One of the first things that I will do to help the great people of Alabama is to approve a 6-lane I-65 from Huntsville to Mobile. I heard Huntsville to Mobile. And I heard, you know, some of your great congressmen who I introduced all of your congressmen, everyone have endorsed me. It's such an honor. But I said, what can I do for this great state? You can make a 6-laner. Does everyone agree that's a big deal? Yeah? Okay. We'll get that done on the first day, okay? First day. I'll bring down the cost of energy, and we will become energy independent and even energy dominant, just as we were 3 years ago. We were going to supply all of the energy to Europe, oil and gas. We were going to make so much money, then we were going to start paying down debt. You ever look at the balance sheet of Saudi Arabia? We have more oil than they do. We have more oil than Russia has. I got Anwar approved. No president could get that done. Ronald Reagan tried. They all tried. I got it done. The first thing that Biden did is he ended it. Anwar in Alaska, probably the largest site for oil anywhere in the world. I will reverse every one of Biden's globalist economic betrayals to once again put America first and put Alabama first. We're going to put Alabama first where it should be. And unlike Ron DeSanctimonious, who voted to gut Medicare, can you believe that? And also voted 3 times to decimate a thing called Social Security, and also to raise the retirement age on Social Security all the way up to 70. I mean, you earned that. There are many other things we can cut. We can do a lot of things that you won't be feeling, but you can't play with Social Security and Medicare. But we will always protect Medicare and Social Security for our great seniors. Not going to touch it. And you saw that because we didn't touch it. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency, because we are going to win it, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I know them both very well. They will settle. Would have never, ever happened. It will be done very, very quickly. I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent World War III. And don't kid yourself, we're a lot closer to it than you think. A lot closer. And that would be a war like no other, because we wouldn't have army tanks going back and forth shooting. They have nuclear. The levels of power are not to be believed. To stop the destruction of our wealth, I will impose a border tariff on all foreign-made goods. You just want to sell into our country, you're going to have to pay for that. That's a great privilege that we do that. We get hurt so badly with trade. I made so many great trade deals, including with Japan and South Korea, and by the way, China for our farmers and manufacturers, $50 billion a year. I don't even talk about that because of what they did with COVID. I will also pass what we call the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. In other words, if China or any other country makes us pay a 100% or 200% tariff, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100% or 200% right back. And one of 2 things will happen. They'll end their tariff, which in most cases will happen, or we'll take in a lot of money, and so will they, but we'll take in a lot of money. Can you imagine? They charge us 100% tariffs and 200% tariffs, and for the same product, we charge them nothing. And we were all set to get that done and approved, and then COVID came in, and we had other things to do, but we're going to get that done. Reciprocal. It's got to be reciprocal. We will gain total independence from China, and I will hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for unleashing the China virus upon the world. You know, it's estimated they can't pay it. Nobody can pay it. $60 trillion in damages, and the death, the millions and millions of people all over the world, the damage they did. And I always said it came from the Wuhan lab, and it did. It came from the Wuhan lab. They said the other day, Trump was right about that one, too. Trump was right about everything, actually. I will immediately terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration. What's happening on our border is unthinkable. We had the safest border in the history of our country, and now we have the most unsafe border, I think, anywhere in the world. There's never been anything like it. No third world country would have a border like that. They'd fight people with sticks and stones if they had to. Under Biden, other countries are emptying out their prisons, insane asylums, and mental institutions and dumping everyone, including terrorists, into the United States of America. Many terrorists are coming in. Their prisons are emptying out all over the world, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we consider more or less neighbors. Guatemala. No, Guatemala's rough, very small prison population. El Salvador, very small. Mexico, very small. They're emptying them out. There was a psychiatrist who's been at a certain South American country for many years running a big mental institution, and they showed him sitting in the institution reading a newspaper, and they were interviewing him. He said, how are you doing? He said, I have nothing to do. We had many, many mental patients, people very, very sick, very ill. And they're no longer here. And the reporter said, where are they? They've all been brought into the United States of America. They've been dumped into the United States of America. How stupid are we? How stupid are we? And they're emptying out those institutions, and they're emptying out all of their prisons and all of their jails, and they're coming in here, and we're going to get them out of this country fast. We're going to get them out so fast. It's a very bad situation. We're going to be paying a price for that for a long time. Who could want that? Who could want it? Who could want it? They are either very stupid, which they're not. You can't cheat on elections like that and be stupid. They're either very stupid, or, in the alternative, they truly hate our country. And I believe they truly hate our country. When I'm back in the White House, following the Eisenhower model, we will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. And we have no choice. Some people won't like that. We have no choice. No country can bear this, and I believe the real number is $15 million. I looked, 15 million people. I looked the other day on television 2 days ago. I saw thousands and thousands and thousands of people on Madison Avenue in New York. They are illegal immigrants. And I looked and I said, this city cannot survive like that. But all of our cities are going through it. And even before that, the Democrats are doing such a bad job of running our cities. They're running them into the ground. The crime is setting records. We have numbers that are up 250 and 300% from just a few years ago. The laws are being broken. The prosecutors go after Trump. Let's go after Trump. But if somebody murders somebody, they know they're there and they don't even bother picking them up. Our country is sick. It's sick, and we have to change it, and we're going to change it fast. I will use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families and their home countries immediately. And we will restore the Trump travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country, as I did with great success. You saw that for 4 years. We had no problem. To stop the Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting Republicans, conservatives, and people of faith. And they do that. I'll tell you, they're really after the Catholics. They are after the Catholic Church. It's incredible. I don't know how many Catholics are in, but they are after the Catholic Church. They're after parents, school boards. It's unbelievable. I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist, in-reverse enforcement of the law. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. It's unbelievable. And my administration, and we did many of these things, many of these things were put back into effect because many of these things were done. My administration will strictly enforce this summer's Supreme Court decision to move our country forward with a merit-based system of education. Isn't that a nice system of education? Merit-based. Did you ever think you were going to see that? Supreme Court upheld merit-based. We didn't have merit-based. In addition, I will return power to the parents of our country. Who would have thought we would have ever had to say that? Can you imagine that? We will return power to parents. Of course you want to return the power especially when it comes to schools. You will have your power back. I will close the Department of Education and move all education back to the states where it belongs. We were going to do that. We were ready. And then we had the COVID. And think of it. We're at the bottom of every list. We spend more money per pupil, sometimes 2 and 3 times what other countries that are very top on the list spend. But we spend more money on education per pupil by far than any other country. And yet we're at the bottom of all the lists. It's terrible. So we're going to move it back so that, Kay, you can handle it. Can you handle it? Are you okay with that? Good. Lieutenant Governor, you're going to help her out a little bit? Yes. Good. We're going to move it back to the states because in Alabama, you'll run a great system and the states will run a great system. And if they don't, those people won't be around very long, but that's where it's going to be. The states are going to run education. By the way, the government will save massive amounts of money, and the states will do a phenomenal job. Some states will do unbelievably, some won't do as well, but it's more pinpointed, it's local, the parents are more involved, and it'll make the biggest difference. It'll be the greatest thing ever to happen to education in the United States. And I will keep men out of women's sports. That's a biggie. That's a biggie. You see some of the records that are being broken? Weightlifting records are being shattered. Records that stood for 18 years are being shattered. It's a disgrace, and it's a very bad thing and very demeaning to women. We're going to end that immediately. I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. Now, think of that. Child sexual mutilation. Could you imagine 15 years ago saying, we're going to stop child sexual mutilation? That you even have to say a thing like that. It's not even believable, but we do, because we have a sick country, and in a way it's a sick world, and we're going to stop it. We'll be the first. We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it cold. I will also restore the Trump ban on transgender in the military. We had a ban. We had a ban, and the ban was immediately lifted like 24 hours after this incompetent fool got elected. Just as I did for 4 years, I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, your guns are going to be protected.